Hello, my name is Lisa Willett, and I teach yoga here at Yoga Community in Sonoma, California. This video is intended to be a follow-up to my first video, Morning Warm-Up. So we're going to go through a beginning sequence of yoga asanas, postures, and we're going to run through some options and different things that you can do to put together a sequence for beginning. So we're going to start, after you've done that morning warm-up, you'll come into this session and we're going to start just in a child's pose. So child's pose, we just let the arms come down to the ground and let the forehead drop in as close to the ground as possible. Make those breaths as deep and long as you can, drawing the breath all the way down into the bottom of the lungs, feeling the breath expanding into the back and sides of the lungs. Begin to shift your weight from side to side, working a little deeper into your hip joints. And then staying close to the ground, you're going to walk your hands over to the left and keeping that forehead dropped in close to the ground. Relax your shoulders. Good, and then slowly walk your hands back into the center and over to the right side. And again, make your breaths deep and full down to the bottom of the lungs, feeling that nice expansion on the left side of your rib cage. Slowly walk the hands back into the center and then bring yourself up into table position. So in table position, we want to plant the hands straight down from the shoulders, knees under the hips, tops of the feet resting on the ground. We're going to draw the belly muscles up and in, so you're nice and strong in your middle. And then we're going to extend the right leg back and press the toes and the ball of the foot into the ground. And then again, lift both of your hips up nice and strong and steady. Draw your shoulders away from your ears and continuing to be strong in your middle, lift your right foot away from the ground, pointing the toes toward the ground and pushing the heel toward the back wall. So we're going to call this stage one, and you can work right here, or if you're ready for a little more challenge, you're going to reach your left arm out in front of you. Keep breathing deep. Good, and if you're ready for a little more challenge, try to draw your elbow and your knee together underneath you, and then stretch yourself back out into that long diagonal line. Inhale, draw in again, and exhale, reach out. One more time, inhale, pull in, and exhale, reach out. Good, now bring that hand and the knee down to the ground and let yourself just kind of shift out from side to side a little bit. And then we're going to reach the left foot back. Toes and ball of the foot to the ground, press into the ball of the foot, get a nice stretch in the back of your leg, pull both hips up. Then lift the left foot away from the ground just a few inches, pressing back through the left heel, toes pointed toward the ground. You can stay right here, or reach your right arm forward. Good, Good, and you can hang here, take a break, or draw the elbow and knee together underneath you. With your inhale, reach out long into that diagonal line. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, reach out. And one more time, exhale, draw in. And inhale, reach out. And then bring the hand and the knee down to the ground. Drop your hips into your heels for a moment, an easy child's pose to rest. Good, and then lift your head. We're going to explore 3 postures: puppy dog, dolphin pose, and downward facing dog. So the first one in puppy dog, we're going to slide the hands out to the front of the mat, curl the toes under and back, press the hips in toward the heels, and then let your forehead drop in toward the ground. Good. Now we're going to start to slide the hands a little further forward. Let your elbows drop in toward the ground. So I've got my hips up over my knees now. So I'm getting a big stretch in the thoracic spine. Good. Now lift yourself up and let your elbows and forearms come to the ground. I'm going to turn this direction so you can see what's happening. I want to make sure that your hands, elbows, and shoulders are all in the same alignment and your palms are flat on the ground. Now from here, we're going to curl the toes under and back, draw the shoulders away from the ears, let your head drop and be heavy, and then press back into your feet, lift your hips up. This is dolphin pose. We're going to breathe deeply here for a moment. And then let those knees come down, hip to the heel, rest back in child's pose. And then we're going to come back up onto hands and knees. I'm going to turn sideways again on the mat. And we're going to work on downward facing dog. Now downward dog is a posture that is one of the most common postures you're going to find in any kind of a yoga class, but it's not appropriate for everybody. So if you cannot put weight into your hands and your wrists, you could do one of those last 2 postures that we did. That would be that puppy dog or dolphin pose. If it's okay for you to put weight into your hands and wrists, I'm going to teach you downward dog today. So you can see from my hands and knees from that table position, I'm going to bring my hands further out in front. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to get the crease out of my wrist. So I'm going to position my hands on the ground and I turn my hands out just slightly to accommodate my wrist, but everybody's going to find what feels proper for them. What we want to pay attention to is that this is not a safe or stable position for our hands and wrists, but this is. So that's the place that you want to bring your hand down to the ground and get your knees far enough away and your shoulders far enough away that you can find that position, that stability in your wrist. Spread those fingers out wide, grip them down to the ground, the width of your shoulders apart, so not too narrow and not too wide. Then curl your toes under and back, press back, let your head drop and be heavy, and then press into the feet, lifting your knees up away from the ground. Now, you can see my heels don't reach the ground. I've been doing this a long time, and they never have reached the ground. So don't worry about that. So if I were to try to get my knees to the ground, watch what happens in my lower back. See how rounded I got? So I'm going to keep my feet back here. My heels are lifted. I'm going to bend my knees and lift my tailbone up. Let your head be heavy. Gently shake your head. Yes and no. And then let's bend and unbend each knee one at a time like we're walking in place. Bring the weight even onto both feet. Lift the heels up as high as you can. Send your tailbone up toward the ceiling. Exhale, sink the heels in toward the ground. One more deep inhale. And as you exhale, knees sink in toward the ground, hip to the heel, and resting in child's pose. Good, now we're going to bring our hands back just in front of the knees. Slowly press yourself up, curl the toes under and back, and then we're going to roll back onto the feet to come up to a standing position. So we'll take just a moment here to roll back onto the balls of the feet, walk the hands back, and then go ahead and stand up. So slowly straightening the legs, prop your elbows up onto your knees. Isometrically lift your tailbone up. Now this is a good safe forward bend for everyone. And if you have pressure-related eye issues, uncontrolled high blood pressure, osteoporosis, these are things that will kind of prevent us from wanting to be able to take a full forward bend. If you have none of those issues, if you don't have any lower back issues, you can drop the whole weight of your upper body forward. Otherwise, keep those elbows propped up on the knees. It's a perfectly good forward bend. So isometrically lifting up, we're just starting to straighten those legs a little bit more, feeling that big stretch in the hamstrings. And then we're going to bring the palms onto the top of the legs. Slowly pressing yourself all the way up. Good, and then from here, we're going to inhale, sweep the arms wide up overhead, and exhale, sweep the arms down. Roll your shoulders up and back and down a few times. Good, now from here, we're going to take our feet out wide and turn both of the feet to the left. Bring the hands on the waist, pull the right hip and shoulder back. So you're realigning that pelvis. So you want the torso to stack right on top of the pelvis. And we're just going to drop the left side of the pelvis down. So you're going to feel a big stretch on the inside of your left thigh. And that's as far as you're going to go there. You're going to slowly come back up. Good. Now turn both of the feet around to the right. Make sure that the toes of the right feet are pointing directly forward. And if you were to draw a line from the front foot, it would intersect the center of your back foot. So we're going to take just that little bit of a drop of the right side of the pelvis down, getting a nice stretch on the inside of the right thigh, stretching out the adductor, and slowly back up. Good. Now we'll flip back around to the left. Plant the left foot, make the toes wide. Pull the right hip and shoulder back again, and then float your arms up. Take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, keep your arms straight and your legs straight and glide out as far as you can to the left, and then take your left hand down to your left leg and right hand on the right hip. Elongate through your spinal column. If you can, turn your gaze up. Let the corners of your mouth drop towards your ears. And then reach your right hand up if your shoulder's feeling all right today. Take a nice deep breath and a deep exhale. 2 more just like that. Good, now turn your gaze forward, bring your right hand on your hip and slowly shift yourself back up. Flip your feet around to the right. We're going to take a triangle pose, Trikonasana on the opposite side. Readjust your hips, pull your left hip and shoulder back. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, reach your arms out and begin to glide out over that straight right leg. As far as you can, then right hand comes down to brace you, left hand on the hip, draw the left shoulder back, turn the gaze up. And if your shoulder allows, you're gonna reach the left hand up. Spread the fingers out wide on the left hand and let the corners of the mouth drop toward the ears. One more deep inhale and a deep exhale. And we'll take the left hand back onto the hip, turn your gaze forward, slowly bring yourself back up, and we'll come into parallel feet. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms wide up overhead, and exhale the hands back onto the hips. Now we're going to flip those feet again to the left, pull the right hip and shoulder back, and this time we're going to bend the left knee. Good. Now we want to check the left knee, make sure it tracks right out over the center of your foot. You might take your left hand to the inside of the knee, give it a little press out toward the pinky toe, and then notice that my right hip came around a little bit. I'm going to draw it back as I hold the left knee in place. So again, I'm stacked right on top. I'm not leaning out over the left knee. I'm right in the middle. Float the arms out, relax the shoulders, turn the gaze out over the left hand. This is warrior two. Breathing deeply. And there's a lot of variations on warrior postures. What they all have in common is they require our effort, our determination, and our willpower to stay a little bit longer than we want to stay. So we're developing that stability, not only in the body, but also in the mind. We can have a lot of variations on the arms in warrior postures. Leave your legs just as they are. Flip your right palm up and lift the arm, draw both your shoulders down. This is called a classic warrior. And then we could reverse our warrior. We're going to let both arms float back. Right hand's going to drop to the back leg, left arm lifts. We look up, draw both shoulders down, turn your palm back, and then look down your right leg. Good, and then come back into warrior number two. Straighten the front leg, let your arms come down. Good, turn your feet to parallel. Roll your shoulders a couple times. Hands on the hips, we're gonna turn both of the feet to the right. Pull the left hip and shoulder back, bend the right knee. Bring the hand to the inside of the knee, give it a little press out toward the pinky toe. Draw your torso into the center, float your arms up, turn the gaze out over the right hand. Count those deep, full breaths. We're going for 3 breaths in each position. Now we'll move into classic warrior arms. We just flip that left palm up and lift the arm up, gazing intently over that right hand. And then both arms float back into reverse warrior. Draw your shoulders down, turn your gaze down the back leg. Be mindful of the front knee. It's going to want to pop up a little bit on you, so sink into your front knee just a little more. Good, and then float your arms back into warrior two. Straighten the right leg, let the arms come down, turn your feet to parallel. Roll the shoulders a couple times. Good, inhale, sweep the arms wide up overhead. As you exhale, take your hands wide to the outsides of your legs and lift your tailbone up as you come into a forward bend. Your hands can slide down your legs and hold on to the outsides of the legs. You can bend the knees a bit and keep the hands on top of the knees if that makes sense for your body. Or you can let your hands come to the ground and let your head drop and be heavy. Whatever position works for you now is fine. Good, and we'll bring our hands back onto the waist and slowly make your way back up to standing. Good, from here we're going to pull the heels in, and then the toes, and then the heels once more. So we have about 2.5 feet in between the heels, and we're going to bend both knees deep. Bring your hands inside your knees and press your knees backward. So first I'm leaning forward, and then I'm drawing my torso back, sending my tailbone toward the ground. Good, we're going to inhale the arms all the way up overhead. And then as you exhale, we're going to bend the elbows so the upper arms parallel with the ground. Spread the fingers wide, draw your arms back and your shoulders down. Be here. This is called goddess pose. I don't know a whole lot of goddesses that hang around like this, but I imagine it makes us stronger, more stable. And the other thing this posture does is ground us down, and that's really what we're after, is to feel more grounded. Inhale, come up, and exhale, let your arms come wide. Pull your toes in, your heels, your toes, and your heels, and rock back and forth a few times. Good. Now, looking down at your feet, make sure you have just about the width of the insides of your hip bones between your feet. Your feet are parallel, and let your hands come out to the sides, palms turned up. Eyes closed for just a moment. This is mountain pose. Mountain pose is a posture of awareness. And so we're taking just a moment to notice your heart rate. Notice your body's temperature at this moment. Feel how your breath is expanding into every cell in your body. Imagine for a moment that beyond the edges of your skin, your energy moves out in all directions, down through the soles of your feet. Your energy grounds you toward the center of the earth, as if you had roots growing out of the bottoms of your feet toward the center of the earth and tapping into that solidity of earth, strength. So you feel grounded and strong, supported. In the opposite direction, feel your energy moving up through the crown of your head. Imagine that tendrils, silvery gold, were extending from the crown of your head up toward the heavens, so that you realize that your body is actually tethered here on earth. Relax where you can. Soften in your shoulders and your knees. Feel the weight of your arms. Breathe deeply to the space that your body is occupying. Good, and let your eyes slowly open. Good, let your arms drop and be heavy. Shake them out a little bit. We're going to roll our feet out from the big toe toward the pinky toe. First on the bottoms of the feet, just kind of warming those feet up a little bit, getting ready for some balancing. And then if it feels good for your toes, you can roll to the top. Get a little stretch in your ankles if that doesn't feel right or look right. If you've got any kind of hardware in your feet, any pins, not a great idea. But otherwise, it might feel good to kind of roll those feet out a little bit. All right. Now we're going to plant the left foot on the ground out in front of you. Start with your heel down, lift your toes up, and then grip that foot down to the ground. Shift your weight onto that left foot. Now, I'm keeping a bend in my knee because my knee is my shock absorber. That's going to help to keep me balanced. So I'm going to keep that little bend in the knee, and then I'm bringing my right foot forward. I'm going to take my knee out to the side, right knee to the side, and rest my heel against my ankle, and then bring my hands in front of the heart. And we're going to call this stage one of a tree pose. So this is a perfectly good balancing posture. If you're feeling shaky and wobbly today, this is going to be your place to work. If you have a greater ability for balance, you're going to drag the foot up onto the calf muscle and you can hang right here. If you're feeling particularly balanced today, or if you have good balance, maybe you have played board sports in your life, you're going to have better balance than maybe somebody who hasn't, right? So maybe you can grab your ankle and bring your foot all the way up to the top of your thigh. Press your heel into the standing leg. Find your balance by drawing the sides of your waist in towards your belly button, and then bring your hands back in front of your heart. Good. Now we're going to try arms up overhead. Reach up, draw your shoulders down, keep breathing deeply. Good. And then bring your hands back down in front of your heart. Pull your knee in, extend your leg forward and bring it down to the ground. Good. Roll out your standing foot. And then bring your right foot out in front. Heel down, toes lifted. Grip that foot down to the ground. Shift the weight onto the right foot. Bring the left knee forward and turn the knee out to the side. Heel rests against the ankle. Hands in front of the heart is stage 1. Stage 2, bring your foot up just a little bit. Stage 3, bring your foot all the way up. Press your heel into your standing leg. Standing leg into the heel, hands in front of the heart. Reach your arms up, shoulders relaxed. Good, and then bring your hands back down in front of your heart. Draw your knee in, extend your leg forward and down to the ground. Good, and again, a little roll of your foot out. And then find mountain pose again for a moment, grounding down equally balanced in both feet. And breathing deep. Good. Letting your eyes slowly open. Come back onto your left foot. Spread the toes out wide again. Grip the foot to the ground. Press it in, little bend in the knee. Now your right foot's going to come to the outside of your left foot, letting the toe rest on the ground. Your whole right hand is going to come across your body and point down towards your feet. Your left hand, as if you're waving at me, hello, is going to come behind your right hand. So the insides of your wrists are glued together. Good. So your hands are very stylized in this posture called the Dance of Shiva. And your left hand is in the mudra of peace or wisdom. And then we're going to start to bend the left knee and bring the right foot out in front. Good. Breathing deeply here. Good. With your inhale, bring your arms up, kick your leg forward, and bring that right foot down to the ground. Roll out your standing foot for a moment, and then bring your right foot out in front. Spread the toes out wide, grip the foot to the ground. This is an interesting posture, the Dance of Shiva. So it's based on a lot of the statuary that we see of Shiva. So under the standing foot of Shiva in the Dance of Shiva, you generally will find in fine art and statuary something scary underneath that foot. There's either skulls or demons underneath the right foot. So Shiva is crushing those demons. My teachers taught me that those are the demons of self-doubt, of negativity, of jealousy, of fear, of anger. So we are destroying those by crushing them or pushing them down. The left foot comes across, and the left foot is dancing, it's celebrating. So this is creation, and that is destruction. The left hand comes across, and that hand is acknowledging the dance between creation and destruction. The right hand comes behind the left. This is the mudra of peace or wisdom. So there's wisdom in this dance. Bend the right knee, bring the left foot out in front. Good, and breathing deeply. Good, and with the inhale, we come up. Reach the left foot forward and come around and down. Find mountain pose. Equally balanced, left foot and right foot, eyes closed, and breathing deep. Good, and let your eyes slowly open. Good, now bring your feet together and bring your hands in front of your heart. This is a variation on mountain pose. Samastiti. It's not so much a posture, it's a state of mind. It means steadfastness. And that's what we're after. Balance, stability, and strength. Let your eyes close for just a moment. So from here, we're going to begin to come down into a deep squat. This is a real crowd pleaser. Everybody loves these. But these squats are really super important. So depending on your knees and your hips, you may find that your squat is way up here, hands on the knees. That's totally fine. Some people are going to be able to bring your elbows down onto the knees. So that's going to be your next stage. You're going to hang there. And if you can, you're going to see if you can negotiate with your joints and get yourself down as deeply as you can. Maybe you rock a little bit, don't bounce from side to side, and then bring your elbows inside your knees and your palms together. Let your hips drop and breathe deeply here. So just about 5 more minutes here. Just kidding. We're about done. But we do want to stay as deeply as we can for as long as we can. There are countries on the planet that spend a lot of time in this position. And in those countries, we don't see the occurrence of hip fractures and lower back issues. So this is one of the reasons why we want to try to keep that length in the lumbar region. And we also want to accommodate our joints, but we want to habituate the joints to being able to be in this position. So I strongly suggest when you're working out in your garden, which everybody should be doing, is that you try to work in this position. And at first it'll feel like you can't stay for very long, but in time you'll find it easier and it'll be better for your back and make your hips a little bit stronger. So we're about done here. So from here, we're going to bring the hands back behind us and just let your bottom come on down to the ground. Stretch your legs out in front of you, lean back, and then let your legs bounce and shift out from side to side. Good. Now from here, we're just going to take a little bit of a forward bend. So in your forward bend, I don't want you to worry so much about having your legs very straight. You could bend your knees a little bit, especially if you have a lower back issue. You can also fold up a little blanket, put that underneath your bum, and lift your backside up a little bit. That'll be easier for those hamstrings and the lower back as well. And so I'm going to leave just a little bit of a bend in my knees. I have lower back issues that brought me to yoga to begin with 20 years ago. So this is a safe way for me to do it. So if you're practicing with your legs straight, we just want to make sure to keep the toes together. Or you can have a little bend in the knees, heels on the ground. I'm just going to easily slide our hands down. You don't have to reach your toes. You can let your forehead drop over. You can leave your hands on the outsides of your legs if that feels good. And just let your upper body sink forward. Good, and then slowly roll yourself back up. And then we're gonna straighten out that left leg and bring your right foot across your left and bring both of your hands onto the front of your knee. Draw yourself up nice and straight and tall, and we're gonna keep that left hand on the front of the knee and sweep your right hand around. Bring your hand down to the ground right behind your lower back. Press into the ground so you lengthen through your spine, draw your right shoulder back, and turn your gaze over to the right. Now press out through that left heel, toes lifted, and really draw your belly muscles in. Keep breathing deeply here for a moment. Good. With your next exhale, slowly unwind yourself, come back into the center, uncross your legs and reverse. So right leg is forward. Now we're crossing the left foot over the right. Hands on the front of the knees, and we're going to draw ourselves up nice and strong. Go ahead and press through that right heel, toes lifted. Extend your left arm forward and pull it around. Fingertips come to the ground behind you. Wrap onto that left knee. Pull your belly muscles in. Lift up through the top of your head. Get that nice twist around your middle. Drawing the belly in and breathing deeply at the same time. Good, and then gently untwist. Come back into the center, uncross your legs, and feet on the ground. Hands to the front of the knees, so our feet are at hips distance apart, knees and hips all at the same alignment. Hands on the front of the knees, we're gonna inhale, lift up through your sternum, through your heart. Exhale, round and pull back. So arms are extended, shins to the chest, and the tailbone is tucking under. With your inhale, you're going to arch your back again, lift up through your heart, pull your shoulders down, and exhale and round. Good, do that 2 more times. Good, last time. Good, and then come back into the center, straight back. All right, now come into the middle of your mat. Feet same hips distance apart. Stage 1 is holding onto the back of the leg. Stage 2 is reaching your arms out to the side. So we're going to round the back again, tucking the tailbone under and slowly rolling yourself down to the ground and coming all the way down. Reach your arms up overhead, stretch your legs out, take a nice deep full breath in. And as you exhale, release with an audible sigh. Let your arms float down by the sides. Flop your feet in and out a few times, toes in, toes out. And then let your legs rest. Widen out in between your shoulder blades. Take your arms out to the sides, palms turned up. And let your body become heavy, breathing deeply. Let your eyes close. And once again, tune into the sound and sensation of your breath, moving in and out of the body. Even easy breath now. With each exhale, letting your body become just a little heavier. And taking as long as you need here. Your Shavasana could be 5 minutes. It could be 25 minutes. You choose what you need and give yourself the time to really deeply relax and settle. When you're ready, take a nice deep, full breath in and a deep release. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bend your knees. Bring your left arm up overhead and roll onto your left side into fetal position. So you're going to roll yourself up for a moment. Let yourself be here. And then being really mindful and taking care of the back, press the right hand into the ground. As you shift your body toward the ground, you're going to press into the right hand and slowly walk yourself back up to a seat. And then you're going to find any sort of a comfortable seat. Doesn't have to be cross-legged, but something that allows you to sit with a long, straight spine. Let your hands rest on your legs comfortably. And just be here now. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to be. Even easy breath. Noticing how you feel now. Allowing your mind to search for that place of inner gratitude, of thankfulness, that you have taken this time to take care. And knowing that each time that you do this, each time that you dip back into your own well, you have more to bring back to your family, back into your life. Calm and grounded. All is well. And take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, let your chin drop in towards your chest. Bring your hands onto your belly and let your eyes slowly float open. With the inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Wrap your practice up and seal it in. Bring your hands down to the forehead, seat of wisdom. Oh, to be wiser. And then to the heart. And sharing that love with those around us and all in need of it. Namaste.